Bye.
See you next week.
Later.
Later, dweebs.
That was good. All right, fellas, I'm going to talk to you guys later. What the? Hello? IW Guide?
Hi, me, Dan, from,
Hi, Stan. It's Jay Gold.
oh, hi, Jay Gold. It's me, Dan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me.
No, no, Stan. Of course I remember you.
Oh, well, I didn't know you guys pick up the phone.
Well, listen, we just finished recording and I'm on phone duty in the studio tonight.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, I guess your wife is not exactly pressing you to get home. What with all your marital issues, I assume. Hey, is he proud of you for all the success his podcast has had over the last year? You're second in Norway. I mean, it's not easy to fleece 5 Patreon members. You guys should really do a reality show. It's like you and all your patrons living in a house for a week and see how many of you are still alive at the end of the night.
Well, I mean, we should get a little bit of credit. You know, number 2 in Norway is nothing to sneeze at. You know what I mean, Stan? I mean, we are making a little cash off of this, just a little bit.
Well, you know, Nor- you know, the Nordic areas are, certainly known for the anti-Semitism. So congratulations. Hey, I have a question.
Sure.
Is Jayhawk there? I sure would like to talk to Jayhawk. He's really funny. I wonder if he's watching a Cavs game. Is there any basketball on tonight in Cleveland?
I don't know, Stan. It's like 10:30. I think the game is over. And I don't even live in Cleveland. You know, I live in New York.
Oh, you gonna catch up on Raw now, Jay Gold? I don't really watch Raw. I like the NXT and AEW. Oh, hey, Jay Gold, you can give me your Fight TV login? I've got some complaints recently here that I'm exposing our security system to hackers. I'm always getting towards the Tor browsers to watch members only matches.
I mean, look, maybe right now there's a couple of guys using it, so I'd have to kind of check with Butters and my brother and whatnot. Is everything okay in Burlington, man? You all right? I don't normally get a call from you at 10:30 at night.
I don't know, Jay Gold. I just thought I'd call to see if Jayhawk is around. Sure miss Jayhawk. Maybe you could see if he's awake and we can talk.
No, I don't think I'm going to bother him right now, Stan. Is that all right? He's got to be sleeping.
Okay. I mean, I understand. Christmas is coming up. Not for you, Jay Gold, but for your co-host. Marcy is very religious, right?
I think so.
I think Jayhawk should ask for a crossbow and hunt down that bear Charlie Butters was talking about his wife. Who could blame Jayhawk if he did it? Charlie's certainly asking for it. Speaking of asking for it, I wonder if Tom Green is listening to the show right now. I wonder what he's asking Santa for Christmas. Maybe a new pair of glasses. I wonder what Malcolm Cambridge wants. I sure hope it's something visual, because I'm sending Malcolm a little gift. I'm sending it to the AIW Wrestling School. It's a special picture I took of Malcolm on Wednesday night. I think he'll appreciate it. He looks so handsome.
I mean, I'm sure he will appreciate it. Last time we saw Malcolm, he was super excited. He thought you might have been at one of the shows, but we didn't get a chance to catch up with you. But as far as Dom goes, there, Stan, I know he's aware of your love for him, and I'm sure he wears glasses just for you, my friend.
I see you guys are doing an end of the year award show.
Exciting, right?
Wow. Oh, sure. Nothing like original content. I sure wish Pod Van Dam had thought of that back when they had an actually successful show. Hey,
well,
you guys really just seem to do a lot of what Pod Van Dam used to do. The sleeves list thing with the guests. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. All of your bumpers and the whole purple button when that guy calls. I mean, maybe you'd have a few more patrons if you simply just kept the name and the spectacle and run with it from Pod Van Dam.
Well, I mean,
hey, Jay Gold, you going on vacation for the holidays?
No, I think I'm gonna stay home. I think my daughter and I are gonna go watch some wrestling. Stan. Maybe we'll go to Broadway, walk around the city, that kind of thing.
She's off from school, right?
Yeah, she's off.
Probably encouraging you to go somewhere by yourself. Oh, hey, Dad, it's okay if you're not around for the next 7 days or 2 months.
Well, I don't think she's saying that, but
you're doing an award show.
Yep.
I have some awards we might give out, Jay Gold. Here, can I give you one?
Sure.
Best imitation of a high school class TV anchor. Charlie Butters. Second award. Best imitation of a middle school class TV anchor. Big Gold.
Well, look, I appreciate that. I'm trying my best over here.
Oh, I also noticed your episodes of the year list. All of them were from like the last 2 months. David Wallace. Who the fuck is that? I didn't even listen to that episode. What happened? You guys all did too many drugs and forgot what happened from like January to June. Tom Dunn's episode? I didn't even call that week. Don't get me wrong. I like Tom Dunn Bagel. But that's like saying one season of Saturday Night Live was best when Friday Finkel hosted. I mean,
Well,
come on.
well, I people like it. I don't know, Stan. I mean, you missed out
Jay
a
Gold.
little. Yeah, yeah.
Jay Gold, you been to any good live wrestling lately?
I am going to that AEW pay-per-view, and I have been to some Creative Pro shows. Does that count?
You're going to an AEW pay-per-view? Which one is that?
That's the Worlds Collide, the MJF Samoa Joe match at Nassau Coliseum.
Oh, sure is nice to be rich. You going to the AEW show at the end of the month?
No, not going to make it this month. I think we'll take a ride out there sometime in the midwinter or spring.
Oh, that sure looks like a fun show. I think Teddy Long's going to be there. Remember when he had like a reverend gimmick? Wait, maybe, sorry. Maybe that was Slick.
Well, Stan, I don't know if
But
I
I
agree.
feel like Teddy Long did a whole preacher gimmick for a long time. Regardless, that's probably going to be a big draw, right? Especially a big draw for Marcy, like a religious figure of authority. He's going to love that. I'm sure there are no PTSD moments brewing for her right there, huh?
I wouldn't know, Stan. I wouldn't know.
I think you should try and go to Cleveland, Bagel. You usually go with your brother to Cleveland, right?
I do.
You mention him sometimes. Sort of sounds like an asshole.
He does.
Dumpy stored out. He's kind of sounds like a dumpy stored alcoholic. Maybe you want to stop bringing him up. I heard him call when Members Only was on, and he only talked about Calvin Lewis. What a puck. I bet he's not rich like you are, Jay Gold. I also would play the odds and probably bet he hasn't had a wife die under mysterious circumstances. There's a plus for old Sam Gold, huh?
Seems like it. Yes.
He's not even a Patreon member, according to what you guys read. Wow. Nothing screams tight-knit family like a show having a host with a brother that won't even spring for a subscription.
Well,
Hey, Jay Gold, this has been fun. I'm not sure we've ever actually done this. Sometimes I like to call and just chat with whoever picks up the phone, but you're actually the first one who ever has.
well, I appreciate the fact that I got to speak to you live, Stan. I hope you and all the folks out there in Burlington have a great holiday season, my friend. And we appreciate your contributions to our show.
Thanks, Jay Gold. Hey, you know what? I actually really do like you. I also think you're a murderer. Well, gotta go. Bye.
Oh.
Hey guys, it's me, Dan, from Burlington. Oh, I thought it was a live call-in. Oh well. Hey, I've been a fan of this show for a long time. I was searching other podcast themes. That's how I found this. I was. And twice, this show matched. The first time I put in Ray Caruth. Hey, Jayhawk, how you doing?
I'm good.
Jayhawk, I like you, but frankly, you curse a lot.
I do.
I set up a swear jar in my house, and when I'm listening, I put $1 in every time you curse. Soon you'll be able to buy Jay Gold some talent. As I said, I'm a fan of the show. Oh, wait. Put your penis away, Jay Gold. I said fan. Not only fans. Hey, you guys know what Dom Guarini did for New Year's Eve? I like Dom. You guys know he wears glasses. Hey, Charlie. Did you know it's coming up to the anniversary of Shawn Michaels turning on Marty Jannetty on Barbershop? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right. We never seem to be in the right place when Jay Gold is getting his kid and play fade trimmed up. Hey, you think Dom Guarini is listening?
No, I don't think
Hey,
Dom's
guys.
listening.
Did you guys do some kind of Christmas swap or white elephant for the holidays? Happy New Year, by the way. But did you do one of those things where you all get together and give each other gifts? I sure hope somebody gifted Jay Gold some material. Well, gotta go. Bye. Hi, it's me, Dan, from Burlington. Hey, I heard you played my call on the last show. That was nice. But Charlie, don't make a habit of it. You four are the only ones who are willing to talk for free every week. Maybe we can get you guys a show sponsor. Maybe FTX. Hey, since the last show, I am now following all of you on your social medias. Twitter, Instagram, Facebooks. Did that sound awkward? Maybe weird? Well, it can't be as awkward as two adult males meeting up on a Monday afternoon to go buy toys, can it, Jay Gold? I saw you, Jay Gold. Yeah. I saw your Twitter picture with Adam Van. It looked like a before and after for the Hair Club for Men. Or for someone going through cancer.
Oh my God!
Hey, I saw Pope Benedict died. At first, I was worried it was the guy from Impact Wrestling. But I'm really sorry, Marcy. I know you're the only God-fearing one on the show. That's why I like you the most. But the Pope died. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
No.
Right. It always seemed God takes the good one, while Jay Gold is still yapping about his house repairs every week.
Well, wait a minute.
Hey, the other day I downloaded a Tor browser. No, put your penis away, Jay Gold. It wasn't for pornography. No, I wanted to watch Wrestle Kingdom. Did you guys watch it? Live from Japan. But I'm sure tired today. It was early in the morning. Do you think Dom Guarini was watching? I like Dom. They were all wearing masks in the crowd. It's like Mike from Virtual Pros booked the venue. Except those people had to actually leave their basements. Well, gotta go. Bye. Hi, it's me, Dan, from Burlington. I'm in a good mood today. Yeah, because I saw Dom Guarini win last night. I like Dom. Do you think Dom is listening? He wasn't even wearing his glasses. How does he wrestle without them? Maybe he eats lots of carrots. I like carrots.
Jesus
Oh, I
Christ.
see it's another interview show today. I guess there is no wrestling on to review. Maybe because it's January. Or because Jay Gold was too cheap to renew his Fight TV subscription. But the interview shows are fun. Maybe not 6 weeks in a row fun. Yeah, I read the upcoming schedule on Twitter. Fun-ish. Last week I listened to Hendrik Hawkins. That sure was a long show. Maybe he should change his name to Hendrix Talkins. Right, Marcy? I know. Maybe I'm a little light on material this week. Austin James is on this week. He calls himself Slugger. I like baseball. You like baseball too, right, Jayhawk? So in Austin James' photo, he's holding a metal bat, like for softball. Well, if he's looking for softballs, he's certainly come to the right place with this discussion. Maybe I'm a traditionalist, but I like wooden... Nope, put your penis away, Jay Gold. I'm talking about bats. Whenever I see a wooden bat, though, I think of that scene in The Untouchables, when Robert De Niro, as Al Capone, kills the traitor at the banquet with the bat. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
No.
Right. Time to invite Jay Gold to a fancy dinner. Make sure he orders the soup. Well, gotta go, bye. Hi, it's me, Dan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. I didn't call in last week.
I remember.
I was packing for the Jericho cruise. Yeah. But I listened to the last few shows. You all were short. 2 weeks ago, no Jayhawk. And then last week, no Jay Gold. Marcy's never sounded so more upbeat. It's like she got a B12 shot. But the absences were notable. I sure missed Jayhawk. Another interview show this week. Dustin Alberti. I like Dustin. He's smart, but not too smart. I mean, he is going on the wrestling world equivalent of Magic Johnson's Magic Hour. When will you guys talk about wrestling again? You think someone will have the courage to run some shows anytime soon? You know, post-COVID? Why else would you not be reviewing indie wrestling matches? Jay Gold apparently was out last week with COVID. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Never. I'm never.
No. In fact, 2 weeks ago, Marcy said my call was mean-spirited. Marcy, I like you best. So, to make it up to you, I've written a little poem. No. Put your penis away, Jay Gold. It's not a dirty limerick. Do you guys want to hear my poem?
Yes.
Okay. Here goes. Soon IW Guide will be on. I really can't wait. Did Jay Gold survive another week? I must learn of his fate. Will he speak about buying toys or playing video games, while countless productive humans go far too early to their graves? Indie wrestling is supposed to be the topic of the show. Though how we've all become familiar with Jay Gold's in-laws, I'll certainly never know. I look forward to my weekly dose of wonderful Marcy, Charlie B, and Jayhawk. But when Jay Gold starts in about his weekend plans, my heart just seems to balk. But no fear, I'll continue to listen. I'll call another day as I patiently wait for a time when Jay Gold is no longer in the way. Okay, gotta go. Bye. Hi, it's me, Sam, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. I was listening to last week's show. There was a lot of cool stuff I learned about you guys. I learned Dustin used to drink a few beers in order to get himself ready for commentary. Well, I know what it is to rely on a little liquid courage sometimes. You may not know this, but I'm pretty shy. Half an hour before I call the show every week, I sit down and alternate between sips of Christmas ale and shots of Malort. Then I take my happy pill. Last week, Jay Gold at one point said, "Don't tell anyone. This is just between the four of us." Huh, that was pretty tongue-in-cheek, Jay Gold. But the joke's on you. Because other than you four, me, Adam Van, and Malcolm Cambridge, no one else is listening to this show. You could have revealed what data that Chinese spy balloon had, and it would still be as good as Top Secret. I learned that Marcy has an OnlyFans. Well, with Pod Van Dam off the air, I've got a little room in my budget. And like I always say, Marcy, I like you best.
I'm so
I learned
creepy.
Jayhawk has a brother, K-Hawk. I had a brother once. I also learned, and I'm not a doctor, that you guys may be suffering from a bit of long COVID, because you guys sure are forgetting a lot. Like Jay Gold is forgetting to be funny. And you guys are forgetting to review actual wrestling matches. I know we're in the middle of a pandemic and promoters are hesitant to run too many in-person events. Like AIW really seems to not be trying anything live. No way. They've run 3 shows in 5 weeks. And Jay Gold was yammering on about going to 2 back-to-back shows in New Jersey this past weekend. Sure sounds like there's something for you guys to talk about. I mean, fresh meat is fine. No, put your penis away, Jay Gold. Not that type of meat. But I've got this guy that's starting to sound like it means interviewing weirdos. Speaking of weirdos, Shawn Mason is on this week. He had a nice little series with Cisco Silver. Now, I don't know Shawn Mason, but I do know Anthony Mason. He was my favorite Nick in the 1990s. He grew up in Queens like Jay Gold. But he died too young, in his late 40s. Hey, Jay Gold, you're getting up towards that age, right? Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Never.
Right. Oh, gotta go. Bye. Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. I'm pretty nervous today. I may have had a few too many shots of Malort. There's 2 of my favorite wrestlers are on the show this week, Derek Dillinger and Dominic Garini. But Dom is my favorite. I talk about you a lot, Dom, when I call this show. I talk about your matches. And I talk about your classes. I like your classes. I'm your biggest fan. I also like Malcolm Cambridge. So, Dom and Derek, I like to call IW Guide. They sometimes talk about wrestling, like last week. They were so close to reviewing wrestling. Jay Gold mentioned going to wrestling in New Jersey. He got very detailed. And right before he talked about a match, he started talking about a sandwich shop that had video games, but he got dinner. I mean, come on, guys. You almost got there. But Dom, you don't know this, but I carry a piece of you with me wherever I go. Yeah, I do.
Oh, no.
Let me explain. A few years ago, when I was just a little Stan from Burlington, I met you at an Evolve show, and after I bought a few pieces of merch, you gave me a purple belt keychain. Now, where I live, they don't usually let me have things with sharpened edges, but I have a secret. Did you guys ever read the Da Vinci Code? Remember the albino Opus Dei monk? Well, I normally wear one of those barbed wire Silas garters around my thigh, just to check myself when I've been thinking naughty thoughts. And I threaded my Dom Guarini keychain onto it. So very often, if I am out, and I'm being a silly Billy, I reach down and crank my Dom Guarini purple belt, and then I'm pure again. Hey, do you guys want to play a game? I really hope you do. It's called What Doesn't Belong and Why. I'll read you a few names, and you tell me what doesn't belong and why. Great. Let's play.
God.
Here we go. Charlie, after I ask the question, you may want to stop for a second and let everyone give their opinion. Here we go. What doesn't belong and why? A, Derek Dillinger. B, Dom Guarini. C, Jay Gold. What the?
I would. I'm gonna say Jay Gold. I can only assume that that's the answer, right, Butters?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now. I'm still in shock about his secret thing that he pulls on to be pure. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
All right. Here's the rest of
let's
his
hear
call.
the end of this game.
The end of it.
Doesn't belong and why? Here's the answer. Even though two of them may nominally be professional wrestlers, and all three are sadomasochistic perverts who mention pegging in their Hinge profile. The answer is B, Dom Guarini. Because unlike the other two, he's never had his milky white skin defiled by a tattoo gun. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
Oh my God.
I did not see that one coming.
Holy shit!
Hey, at least you didn't wish death upon you this week, Josh.
He tried. I'm. Thanks, Stan from Burlington.
Oh my God.
He really likes Dom Guarini. I know that.
He does.
Yeah, I'm very creeped out right now.
Sounds like he's a big fan.
Dom,
He's a big fan.
You keep him here.
Sure.
You need another run of those purple keychain or purple belt keychain. Or you need a brown belt.
Yeah, you got to do the brown belt now. Yeah, we got our buddy Stan from Burlington called. You ready for this?
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. I didn't call last week. I was enjoying some Dear Mama's pizza. I like the square. Hey, Charlie, can you dub in a festive sound at certain points in my call? Yeah, like a party, for two reasons. One, it was Dom Guarini's birthday on Tuesday. Yeah, it was. He's my favorite wrestler. I like his glasses. You think I should have him on the podcast? Do you think Dom's listening?
We just
I
did.
sent him a happy birthday message on social media.
Dick.
I did, yeah, with a special picture. He must have gotten it, but he was too busy celebrating to write back. I also like Malcolm Cambridge. I have lots of pictures of him, too, on my special phone. That's the phone I don't call the show with. The other reason for the celebration is because you guys finally reviewed some actual wrestling. I mean, after a few hiccups. Charlie, that wasn't very nice when you said the Jayhawk. It made me pretty uncomfortable. And when I get uncomfortable, I yank my Dom Guarini purple belt keychain, which is attached to the barbed wire garter on my thigh. Yeah, I do. I do. While I was listening, I got pretty sad. So I really cranked it. I did. Where I live, they don't like when I do that. I had to throw out my underpants. Remember Ronald Two Legs from Pod Van Dam? I was almost Stan One Thigh. But last week was great. I learned a lot about everyone. I learned that Marcy used to live in Pennsylvania. Why does no one on the show like Pennsylvania? I like Pennsylvania, especially the Poconos. Do you remember those commercials in the 80s and 90s for Mount Airy Lodge? It was a very catchy song. It went like this. All you have to bring is your love of everything. Beautiful Mount Airy Lodge. And then there's a handsome couple in a champagne glass-shaped bathtub. I'd like to go there. Maybe me and Dom and Malcolm Cambridge can go. Hey, speaking of Pod Van Dam before, I heard Ed this week talking about his new show on a small podcast. His new show is called Hey Ya, Bussy. Well, I learned last week that Jay Gold doesn't like Alley Cat from Bussy. He sure was adamant. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right. Some podcasters may try to bury wrestlers.
And he got cut off.
Before we go on, I just it's good to know that IW Guide has officially, we've gotten our first restraining order. I assume Dom has filed it already, and I think we might have a second one coming from Malcolm.
You want to answer the question about why we hate Pennsylvania so much? I don't hate Pennsylvania as a whole. I just hate Pittsburgh.
I live there. That's why.
I gotta hear where this went. Oh,
Hey, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. I just called, and I got cut off. I was talking about my call. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right. Some podcasters may try to bury wrestlers, but what we really need is someone to bury Jay Gold. Okay, gotta go. Bye. Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure you remember me.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a few sleepless nights. Yeah, I have. I was worried you guys wouldn't have a show this week because it's been an emotional time for you. Me too. I mean, there's been so much. Let's work backwards. Recently, we got word that several AIW wrestlers were in a car crash on their way to a show. That was scary.
Yeah.
I know you love those guys.
Yes.
I actually had a premonition the night before.
Oh,
My
shit.
vision was a few guys on a snowy highway listening to this show. But when there was too much time spent hearing you guys argue about your favorite mediocre sports teams, the whole car passed out and the car drove into an embankment. Almost like when Payne Stewart's plane suddenly depressurized. I woke up screaming.
God.
But then I thought, nah, this show is more of a train wreck than a car crash, so joke's on me. But seriously, Derek Dillinger, Joshua Bishop, and Marino Tenaglia are national treasures. So is Malcolm Cambridge, I might add. Yeah, he is. But what really ruffled my feathers was hearing Dom Greeny was involved. I don't know if you know this, but he's my favorite wrestler. Yeah, he is. I'm not sure I mentioned this, but I carry his purple belt keychain with me wherever I go. And I draw pictures of a man's glasses on napkins when I'm allowed into the dining room. Yeah, I do. So when I heard the news about the crash, I immediately took to my bed and was comforted by my Dom Greeny wrestling buddy. I know what you're thinking. They never made a Dom Greeny wrestling buddy in the 80s. That's true. I made my own. I plucked feathers from, well, let's just say a few geese. And then I 3D printed an image of Dom Greeny that I found on the dark web. And I stuffed it and sewed it together. Hey, you guys should have Dom Greeny on the show. Anyway, next in line, I heard you guys upset Billy Dixon after last week's review. That had to be mildly unsettling for you guys to hear, right? Finally, on last week's show, led by Jay Gold, you guys said some very lovely and heartfelt words about the unfortunate loss that Duke Davis suffered. I thought that was very classy. Duke is a special guy. I hope he can find strength. I also heard Jay Gold mention that he lost his wife 18 years ago. That's very sad, too. No one should ever have their best friend taken from them so young. But Charlie, I know, but I have to. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I never am. Man.
Right. The guy always seems to sneak through. But I also thought we could lighten the mood a bit. Let's play a game. What doesn't belong and why? Yeah, let's do it again. Come on. I'll give you a few names, and you tell me what doesn't belong and why. Charlie, make sure you pause and let the people guess. Okay, here goes. What doesn't belong and why? A, Dom Greeny. B, disgraced former South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh. Or C, Jay Gold. What doesn't belong and why?
All right, so what doesn't belong or why?
I'm gonna
Second person.
I said I'm going to go with Jay Gold. That guy Murdoch killed his whole family.
So he's saying what one of them is not like the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, which doesn't belong and why?
Maybe it's Murdoch because he murdered his entire family. I don't think Dom killed his family. I don't think you killed your family. Did you?
I did not.
All right, let's find out.
Okay, well, here's the answer. What doesn't belong and why? A, Dom Greeny. Because unlike the other two,
right.
there is no reason to even speculate that out of these three, Dom Greeny has ever been perhaps responsible for the passing of a loved one. Oh, well, okay, gotta go.
I had a hunch it was A, but I didn't know where he was going with it. Well played.
With the fact that the fucking guy killed a loved one, it kind of had to be related to that somehow.
I think Stan has some information and may believe that Josh murdered his first wife.
It hasn't been.
We might have to start naming Stan as Sam just to protect his identity.
It has not been proven, and I reject that, Stan. So,
you do realize that there is no statute of limitations for murder, right? Like if he had some information,
Stan, don't do that again. Oh my!
Well, after this train wreck of a show,
you can text message me and let me know what's going on here, because I need to not have a murderer on my show.
Stan, the shirts and the logos are being printed. We're gonna capitalize off of that motherfucker.
I'm definitely buying a Stan from Burlington T-shirt when they're available. I'm not gonna lie.
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. Hey, are you guys ready for a new segment? Yeah. It's called Purple Belt Time. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah. Every week I can do a small part that talks about every reason I had over the last week to yank my Dom Guarini keychain. Yeah. It's fun. Okay, here goes. Reason 1. Jay Gold. Yeah. Most times he was talking. Right? Reason 2. March Madness. I don't like the term madness. I've heard people whisper it at times about me. It makes me sad. Why can't we call it March Excitement? It's so much more uplifting. Reason 3. Charlie.
Yay.
That wasn't very nice again, what you said to Jayhawk last week at the 9-minute 55-second mark of the show. You can't keep doing that. It makes all the listeners uncomfortable, especially me. I'm lucky. I still have a carotid artery in my thigh after that. Yeah, I am. It almost got sliced off.
I don't think you have the time.
If you keep doing that to Jayhawk, I'm going to start another segment that is, hey, Charlie, who'd you bang this week? Yeah, I will. I'll do it.
Shortest thing ever.
So now that we're done with the new segment, let's get down to brass tacks. Guys, frankly, I think we need to go back to the interview shows. Yeah, I do. You should have Dom Guarini on. You guys were too negative lately. Charlie was absolutely breaking kayfabe on the Royal Rumble style match that ICW did. And Jay Gold kept talking about maintaining some sort of mystery. I mean, the real mystery is how Jay Gold keeps his chair on his program. Right, Marcy? So maybe you guys are at a crossroad. Jay Gold kept talking about how big the main event was. I mean, if there was ever a tailor-made put your penis away, Jay Gold moment, that was it. But that's okay. It's been hard to stay committed to indie wrestling. For me, too. I've been broadening my horizons. I've started taking continuing ed classes at the local community college in Burlington. Yeah, I have. You guys have seen how much I love art. I recited a long poem on the show, and I even sang a few weeks ago. These classes are helping me express myself. I'm doing pictures, portraits. I've been painting my favorite wrestler, Dom Guarini, in his everyday life. Yeah, I have. I may have paid someone with a telescopic lens to look into Dom's house. Yeah, maybe I did. So I'm painting images of him in his most vulnerable moments. I'm also drawing Malcolm Cambridge. Those are naughty. And mostly how I like to picture him during celebratory moments. Yeah, I'm doing that. But guys, I've also been taking more writing classes. And one of them is for poetry. Yeah, we're doing haikus. We are. I wrote a few haikus about the show after I listened last week. I'm not sure you guys understood what I was inferring, so I'll do it through poetry. Okay, here goes. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right. Josh, murderer. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God.
Master of subtlety.
Wait a minute. What kind of classes are these? What?
That was a beautiful haiku, Stan. That was beautiful and very telling.
I don't know what kind of class that was.
Also, Dom, because you were a guest on the show, you get a complimentary restraining order. So you might want to take advantage of that.
That makes two.
Him doing naughty paintings of Malcolm Cambridge. I don't know if Malcolm's going to want to come on in a couple weeks if he's going to be getting harassed by
he's
Stan.
Have to answer to Stan.
Oh my.
Hope Factory?
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. Right now, I'm a ball of emotions. I saw my favorite wrestler, Dom Guarini, beat Timothy Thatcher on Friday night at the new AIW Cleveland location. That place looked great. I heard it's called the Temple. Nothing like a little spirituality to mix in with the nihilism that accompanies most indie wrestling shows. Right, Marcy? Hey, I see you guys took my advice from last week's call and went back to an interview show. Look, let's not see this as a failure. I mean, maybe the four of you discussing your weekends followed by 3 hours of recorded wrestling shows to review just isn't good enough for content. Or maybe what you're really doing with these interview shows is looking for a potential new fourth chair to replace Jay Gold. I mean, I couldn't blame you if you were. But guys, if you noticed, when I began my call, I didn't say my normal. I don't know if you remember me. Because this week, I know you guys remember me. And frankly, no pun intended, I think you're sticking it to me. Yeah, sticking it to me. I'll explain. It's Purple Belt time. Yes, the regular segment when I review all the reasons I needed to yank my Dom Guarini Purple Belt keychain this week. Issue 1, and it's the only one. Your guests, the Bitcoin boys, the finance bros. I saw what you did to members only on Friday night. I saw what the Duke did. I'm so angry. Hey guys, remember last week when I talked on the show about the art classes I'm taking? Yeah. The not quite tasteful drawings I've been doing of Dom and Malcolm? Yeah. Well, we've been moving on a bit. Now we're copying some of our favorite works of religious iconography. Hey, Eric and Mikey, you guys are in my drawing this week. Yeah, God. I copied The Kiss of Judas by Giotto, a proto-Renaissance Florentine painter. I did. It depicts the kiss that Judas gave to Jesus before betraying him in the Garden of Gethsemane. But I gave it my own touch. I depicted Sweet Malcolm Cambridge as Jesus, and the Duke as Judas the Betrayer, and you two as part of the evil Sanhedrin. I did. Then I threw feces on it while I yanked my Dom Guarini keychain. Charlie, Big Gold, Jayhawk, Sweet Marcy, I think we need to reassess our relationship. If you're not sticking it to me, you should have members only on, ASAP, because otherwise, the next time you hear my voice, it won't be on this show. All you'll hear is, hey, Joe, hey, Adam, it's Stan. First time, long time. Okay. You can't end on a sour note like that. Let's play another round of what doesn't belong and why. Yeah, let's do it.
What the fuck?
Charlie, remember to pause and let everyone guess. Okay, here we go. What doesn't belong and why? A, Dom Guarini. B, the Bitcoin boys. C, Jay Gold.
I'm gonna have to say me again. I have to say me.
Why?
I can't fathom where I would fit into this, but Stan manages to always find something.
I mean, I'm just gonna go on the limb and say because he's not too thrilled with you two right now, and he for sure hates you, Jay Gold. So I think he just likes Dom, and that's my through line there.
He's very unhappy with the Bitcoin boys right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Jay Gold because he is not the one that Jay Gold has not been explicitly mentioned as one that has been drawn.
That's a fair point.
I'm gonna say that he's teasing a next drawing.
You'll see.
Well, obviously the answer is A, Dom Guarini. Because unlike the other two, Dom Guarini would never sell out his dear sweet friends for 30 pieces of cryptocurrency. Okay, gotta go, Mike.
Okay, so
I was technically right.
Technically.
was that AI? That was AI, right?
I can guarantee you that a human being on the phone.
Hi, it's me, Stan. From
Hi, Stan.
Burlington. I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, we do.
Hey, I see you have another guest on this week. That's good. Because it's not like there were any independent wrestling shows on TV over the last 5 days. Yeah, not at all. A show like yours can't survive without streaming content to review in the week in between calls. Sure is nice of Pat Franklin to come on this week and fill some downtime.
Fuck, he knows my government.
Let's get this out of the way. I saw Vince McMahon on TV this morning discussing the corporate merger that WWE is going through.
he was sporting a pencil-thin mustache. Have you guys ever heard that Jimmy Buffett song?
Boston
I
Blackie
wish I had a
kind.
pencil-thin mustache. The Boston Blackie kind.
Yeah, I know it.
A two-toned Ricky Ricardo jacket and an autographed picture of Andy Devine.
You're gonna kept off of YouTube now.
Bucktooth and skinny, writing fan letters to Sky's Peace Nettie. Oh,
He's a good
I
singer.
had a pencil-thin mustache. I could solve some mysteries, too. Hey, speaking of mysteries, why did he grow that? It's certainly a unique style choice. I partly think it's to make up for something else of his that is pencil-thin. No.
Oh.
Put your penis away, Jay Gold. I'm talking about the handmade capellini pasta his personal chef makes. Hey, Ronald Two Legs.
Yes.
We have something in common. Yeah, we do. We've both done irreversible damage to one of our legs. Yeah, but mine is because I'm too naughty sometimes, and I need to rein it in. But you know, Pat is really one of the granddaddies of wrestling podcasts. Speaking of that, I had a grandpa once. He drove an ice cream truck and thought pro wrestling was real. Every time Pedro Morales beat Bruno Sammartino, he would make me sit in the basement in the dark listening to Dave Brubeck albums while he drank a fifth of Chivas and screamed at the moon. Those are some fun times. But it's fitting to have Pat on after WrestleMania. But I think a better analogy is to say he's more like Barry Sanders. Yeah, he is. He walked away from it all when he was at the top of his game. Hey, Pat, I'm no financial whiz, but I am pretty sure you're not going to find too many corporate trainers who would say, if you have a podcast that people give money to every month, that only requires an hour of your week and brings joy and community to a sizable number of miscreants and oddities, it's perfectly cool to simply stop doing it and walk away. I don't think you will. But you guys, Pat and Todd Van Dam, they made a bunch of sweatpants and then retired. But that's okay. I was a patron. And I took my sweatpants and cut the O and the D out of the word pod and the M from the word damn. I stitched together to spell Dom. And then I ironed them onto a part of my white undies. And I wear them during every Dom Gurney match. Yeah, I do. But seriously, I think we really are just killing time until next week when Members Only is on. Yeah, I do.
It's true.
Malcolm Cambridge is a potential
placeholder.
Nobel Peace Prize winner. He does so much for all of us. I'm really looking forward to that show. It's during Passover. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right. Jay Gold is the firstborn. Shame it wasn't in the time of Moses. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
You're lucky. You're lucky, Josh.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out exactly how Dan got punished there, because Pedro Morales never beat Bruno Sammartino. Not that I think I have a record of, but
You never can tell.
I think you got Pedro confused with somebody else there, Dan. But
Semantics.
He seems to love you, Pat.
I'm glad because he knows my first and last name.
He loves you. He loves Malcolm Cambridge. He loves Dom. You know,
he was a Patreon, so he probably has my return address. So that's
Correct.
also not good.
No, we're handing out cease and desist, right, Mars?
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Jeez Louise.
Hey, it's me, Sam, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. I have a little pep in my step this week. Yeah, I do. Maybe it's the 1.5 cans of Christmas ale I just drank. Or maybe it's because Purple Belt Time, meow, meow. My favorite tag team to leer it obsessively, Members Only is on. No. Put your penis away, Jay Gold. That's not that sort of member. I'm talking about the rightful holders of the AIW tag team belts, who were cheated at them in a move of unparalleled evil, the likes of which has not been done by a financial professional since Bernie Madoff. I'm so mad at the Duke and the Bitcoin boys that I spent this month's snack budget on a Patagonia vest that I stuffed around a mannequin that I stole from TJ Maxx. Every night, I drape an Afghan around me and the mannequin, and I read sections from Andrew Ross Sorkin's book, Too Big to Fail. No, again, Jay Gold, not that type of big. The book about the financial crash of 2008. Out loud. I read it out loud to them. The parts detailing trickery and high crimes by the banks. And then I look at the mannequin and say, you've done worse. As you can imagine, all that overstimulation means my thigh is in pretty rough shape this week, so I've mostly been in bed watching TV. I watched AEW last week. I saw Jay Gold was there. I noticed a guy who looked like Dilbert in the crowd, and I thought, there's my friend Jay Gold. Then I yanked my Dom Guarini purple belt keychain again. Ouch. Guys, you all seem to go to a lot of wrestling. You just don't seem to talk about a lot of wrestling. IW Guide seems to be exactly that. Just a guide. You know, whatever we want to chat about. Jayhawk's power goes out. There's something that can fill 5 minutes of airtime when we could be discussing how handsome and fit Malcolm Cambridge looked on Fight the other night. There were 14 events on Fight the other night. But let's hear about the latest walking taco Charlie Butters wants to try. Yeah, yay for content. Speaking of Malcolm Cambridge, I read that this is the first interview Members Only has done. I guess they were saving themselves for the Wrestling World's version of The View. Malcolm, though, is always charitable. This week, Jay Gold is like his Make-A-Wish kid. I remember when Members Only was given a very special plaque by Pod Van Dam. I do. I was given a plaque, too, this week. I was. It reads, Most Bizarre Interpretation of a Classic Work of Art. Bam. It was for one of my paintings. Want to hear about it? Okay.
Sure.
I'm sure you guys are well-versed in 17th century Spanish masters, so I won't bore you with backgrounds. But remember, I'm sure you do, Francisco de Zurbaran's Hercules and the Hydra, right? When Hercules defeats the many-headed serpent as one of his labors. Yeah. Well, I gave it this stand touch. I drew Hercules as Malcolm Cambridge, and on each of the Hydra's heads, I painted Mikey, Eric, and the Duke. I even added Porter O'Shea, Tom Dunn, and Jay Clemens, because no one likes a referee on the take either. Then, when we presented it to my class at the community college, I threw feces on it and yanked my Dal Guarini purple belt keychain. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
There's a lot to unpack there.
All right, shut me up, Malcolm. What are you thinking right now?
I don't even know anymore.
Remember, as a guest on this show, you get a free restraining order.
I don't think I'll need it. Listen, Stan, this is you and me right now. There's no one else in the room. All right? Actually, I don't feel comfortable with that. There are other people.
I was going to say, be careful.
Be careful with that one. Yep. I appreciate all the love, all the paintings. I don't really appreciate the pictures. I really wish that you would not. I don't know if you're hacking. I don't know how you're getting the pictures on your phone. I don't appreciate that. But, just a simple, good job. I do appreciate that you think that I looked good on Fight TV. I've been really trying to, get up there with the muscles over there hitting again. But yeah, it's kind of stepping over the line. I enjoy the paintings. I'd like for you to send me one so I can hang it up in my room, preferably the one of me as Christ.
Maybe the ones without the feces.
But, you could always just show your love and support by, a follow on Twitter. You could buy a shirt off Brainbuster Tees. Yeah, but we don't have to go this far anymore, dude. It's cool. I get it. Yeah. I might use that one free restraining order. I don't know. I don't want to hurt his feelings, This is a delicate subject because I feel as though if I piss him off, he'll find out where I live and he's just never gonna hear from me again.
Oh, Malcolm, he knows where you live. Don't worry about that.
Oh fuck, dang. Well, then just in that case, since he knows where I live, keep up the good work. I appreciate all of the support and forget everything that I said. before that.
Hi, it's me, Sam, from Burlington. It's Purple Belt time. Meow, 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 meow. Yes, the weekly segment where I relay my angst from the previous few days. This week there's only one issue. Charlie Butters. First of all, you did not say that Jay Gold was not going to be on the show this week. I spent the last few days in despair at thinking that I'm not going to hear Malcolm Cambridge's voice this week, and I'd be forced to listen to an hour and 40 minutes of Jay Gold talking about what flavor of Hubba Bubba he used to like. And him not being on the show is a cause for celebration. First of all, he asks the same questions to the guests 6 times. Second of all, I think he stifles Marcy.
Thank you.
Third of all, I'm pretty sure he killed his first wife. If you guys remember, I've been saying that you were going to choose a new 4th chair for weeks now. I see this week, young Ed is on the show replacing Jay Gold. I like Ed, but he's probably just going to be plugging his new wrestling-adjacent podcast for 10 minutes. Yuck. Hey, Bussy.
Close.
The second part is, I didn't know that you guys were going to be recording early this week. I usually like to sit down on Monday at 9:15 in the morning with a bottle of Malort and write my thoughts down before I call.
That's early.
In my line of work, you know how difficult Sundays are for me. I'm saving souls here. Speaking of other potential 4th chairs for the show, this is beginning to get like Wrestling Cheers leftovers. Who's next? UXWA Rick or Pam? Hey, where do you think Jay Gold is this week? You think he got arrested finally?
Goodness, Rick.
But here's my other real concern. How are you guys getting all of these AIW wrestlers on? I mean, Marcy's OnlyFans can't be doing that well. But this is becoming like a de facto AIW podcast. You might as well just take the name the card is going to change. Lord knows they're not doing anything with it. I see you have PME on this week. They're a great tag team. Normally, when I have time to write my thoughts down, I would come up with some laudatory yet also critical things to say about them. But I didn't have any time to prep. I sound like the rest of your regular callers. Like Adam Van or that guy, the other JB. No. Wherever you are, Jay Gold, put your penis away. I said JB, not BJ. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
Oh, boy.
Was it even a question?
Who
the hell is this guy? Talking bad about old Jay Gold and Pam and everybody else. I don't think so. Hey, I don't know if you heard the story about what happened at Killbuck. It can happen in your town too.
Hi, it's me, Stan.
Hey, Stan.
From Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. I liked last week's show. Jay Gold wasn't on. I guess he's back this week. He's probably going to talk about his trip to Akron, how he drove 8 hours, where he stopped and ate fast food, and all the colorful AIW fan personalities he encountered. The Rip City pharmacist, Stacy Silvers, Alabama Dan. What he's not going to mention is that he's probably will write the whole trip off as a business expense. I almost had to laugh at that myself. Calling the show a business? I guess unless you count the Stan from Burlington t-shirts I see you're selling in the merch store. Hey, I'm still waiting for my royalty check, Jayhawk. I'm just calling out Jayhawk because out of the 4 of you, he seems like the only one that took a financial literacy class in high school. But hey, I think it's time for a new weekly segment. Did you guys ever listen to Prairie Home Companion, the radio show hosted by Garrison Keeler that talked about news from the week in Lake Wobegon, Minnesota? I'd love
Can't say I have.
Ampliculture caught up to old Garrison, but not Stan yet. So here we go. It's
springtime here in Burlington. The frozen ground is starting to thaw a bit. Enough so that Darrell, the groundskeeper of the Burlington Municipal Pitch and Putt, can start to think about punching the green soon. And so that Margaret, chair of the maintenance committee of the town cemetery, is going to have to start planning to start pruning the posies and bushes around some of the town's more permanent residents. If you're up on what the kids are listening to, it will be no surprise to hear that local favorite, IW Guide, again, isn't quite guiding anyone on independent wrestling. I really shoehorned that in, didn't I?
Yeah.
But seriously, you guys know I love this show, but more so, I love Dom Guarini and Malcolm Cambridge. And
yes, we know.
I don't think I did them enough justice when they were both on recently. I wanted to sing a song that reflects my feelings of missing them. Yeah, I do. Hey, do you guys remember Jim Croce?
Oh,
He was
God.
great. Very sad. He died at 30 in a plane crash. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
No.
Why couldn't Jay Gold have opted to fly to Akron this weekend?
Oh.
But back to Jim Croce. He wrote a beautiful song, Photographs and Memories. That's especially fitting for me because I have lots of photos of Dom and Malcolm on my phone.
Oh, sure you do.
Here goes. Photographs and memories. Christmas cards you sent to me. All that I have are these to remember you. Memories that come at night. Take me to another time. Back to a happier day when I called you mine. But we sure had a good time when we started way back when. Morning walks and bedroom talks. Oh, how I loved you then. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
I honestly did not expect a Jim Croce reference in 2023 on this podcast, and even from me. And I'm a Jim Croce fan. I didn't expect that.
Yes, go.
I want a clarification from Jay Gold or from anyone. Is Stan from where is Burlington?
Any town USA, Derek. Could be anywhere.
Okay,
it's just like Springfield.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
because
for
the
we've
longest
been
time,
having a discussion over the last few weeks. We cannot quite figure it out.
Isn't it Burlington, Connecticut? I want to say.
There's one in Vermont, which is where we're leaning toward. There's one in New York, even though Jay Golden gets that. I'm lying about.
Isn't there one? Isn't there a Burlington, Ohio?
No, there's not. There's a Burlington. There's a Burlington coat factory. That's where I thought Stan worked.
Lives there. Wow.
He lives the Burlington Coat Factory.
It could be anywhere. It's all in your mind's eye where Stan lives, and
I think Burlington is like a home for the mentally deranged, is what I think it is, because
It's the Burlington Coat Factory in the Steel Yard in Cleveland, Ohio.
That's a possibility.
That's what I like to think.
There is actually
a
Burlington, Ohio, but it's all the way down by the Ohio River.
But you see, there is a Burlington, Ohio. There you go.
Oh my!
You never know.
Right on.
I was right about that one, Jayhawk.
Right across from the Kentucky border.
Oh,
I need clarification from Stan himself when he's done stroking his purple. When he's done stroking his purple keychain, I need him to tell me: has he ever worked, or has he never worked at a Burlington Coat Factory? Because I feel he's a former disgruntled employee of the Burlington Coat Factory, and he lost his mind.
I don't think Stan has had a job in a very long time.
I'm appreciating the Stan lore.
Yeah.
I'm really scared to hear from this man.
No, Stan's a jolly little fella. He has his likes and his dislikes, and you'll see.
I'll see.
You'll see.
All right, here we go. Stan from Burlington.
Hi, it's me, Stan.
Hello.
From Burlington. I don't know if you remember me.
Da, 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 da,
Oh yeah. Freak out, freak out.
That was, of course, Sir Edwin Algar's Pomp and Circumstance #1 in D. No. Put your penis away, Jay Gold. Not that type of D. I'm talking about the major scale. And of course, I hummed that in celebration of Malcolm Cambridge's recent educational accomplishments. Gee, this guy does it all. High-level academics, while at the same time bringing entertainment and ecstasy to thousands of wrestling fans in the Eastern and Central time zones on a near-weekly basis. There appears to be nothing he can't do. However, book smarts aside, I'm not sure how wise it was for him to appear on the show. This is essentially the wrestling world's version of the final 4 months of the Jenny Jones show. I remember her. That was all. Now, I know I didn't call in the last few weeks. Sorry to leave the show foundering for some listener-generated content. But I had some finals in the community college classes I've been taking, and one of them was a field assignment. Yeah, it was.
Added to the lore.
We had to go out into a natural setting and paint it. I bought an easel and paints, 3 bottles of Johnny Walker Red, a pair of red sweatpants to mask my injuries when I yanked my Dom Guarini purple belt keychain, a portable charger, a tent, and a pound of Ryan Kaplan's homemade jerky, and I went into the woods at Burlington. I did. Wouldn't you know it, I woke up 6 days later with my earbuds in and MV Young yammering on while Charlie and Jay Gold laughed. So then I had to spend a few more days actually completing the painting. Not my best idea. Speaking of not very smart, I see Derek Dillinger is back again this week. Making pictures or falsified tax returns on this guy or something. Because why would he come back again and keep calling in? Derek, I'm here to help you. If you're being held against your will, or if this is some type of extortion plot against you, just blurt it out on the air. I'll make sure the same people that take care of me will come rescue you. It's a wonderful life here in Burlington. Speaking of Burlington, as you can imagine, my absence for a few days set a few emergency drills into motion. When I finally got home, they were of the mindset that maybe I didn't need my podcasts for a few days. Something about wrestling not being real. But I was adamant that I needed to catch up on the matches. Well, that was a mistake. I watched the AIW Super Denico and saw what happened to Eric Taylor. That was a shame, and I hope he gets better soon. He's a talented guy, and was a good sport when you guys tricked him and Mikey into appearing on the show. I couldn't help thinking, yeah, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Oh, my God.
Right. Jay Gold walks around all day in flip-flops on his matchstick legs, and we can't get a Joe Theismann injury or anything to happen to him. Wait. Don't worry, I'm not done yet. I owe you guys a little extra time. The last few weeks, you guys seem to have taken my love for Jim Croce to heart. And Marcy, I know that for someone as young and hip as you are, it may seem like my music from a bygone era, but I thought I might end with a little song expressing my love for you and Malcolm and Jayhawk and Dom Guarini, courtesy of a man who continues to be a mystery to you, Jim Croce, even though you simply could get the correct spelling and Google it. Come on, Marcy. But nevertheless, here it goes.
Oh, my God.
Well, I know it's kind of late.
I knew that's where you were going.
I hope it didn't wake you. But what I gotta say can't wait. Know you'd understand. 'Cause every time I tried to tell you, the words just came out wrong. So I'll have to say I love you in a song. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
I need an adult.
First of all, fuck my drag, I guess. I'll be here. Whatever. I don't want to talk about you either, man from Burlington.
Ziggy
That's
and I
actually
both
the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life, for real.
Ziggy and I both love Jim. We love Jim Croce. We love Bad Bad when we were around.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love that song.
Sure, okay.
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. It's Purple Belt time. Meow, 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 meow. Yes, the weekly segment where I air my grievances with all the hosts of this show. Issue 1. The other JB. Congrats on your graduation. But Marcy, no one needs 4 minutes of content about your journeys to the drag shows. This is supposed to be about wrestling. Issue 2. Ziggy Heim. Meow, 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 meow. Your guest last week. She seemed to get mad and talk about the fact that I didn't mention her as your guest during my call. Well, Ziggy, here you go. Coming straight at you from Burlington. Just kidding. I have nothing to say about Ziggy. If that makes me a bad person, well, someone just tugged my Don Graney purple belt keychain and put me out of my misery. Issue 2. Jay Gold and his squirrels. Wow. I can't imagine claiming to have a wrestling-ish geared podcast, then spending the first 3 minutes of a show talking about the supposed squirrels ruining my backyard. Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right. Magnum CK and Dr. Dan appeared from the dead this week at AIW's Gauntlet for the Gold. But we can't get Jay Gold to be the first part. Dead. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
Jesus.
Hi, it's me, Sam, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me.
I do.
I'm sorry if I seem a bit lethargic this week. Last week was rather emotionally taxing for me. It was. And as you can imagine, that means I've done considerable damage to my thigh. I have. I'm existing off a steady mix of New Amsterdam Pig Whitneys over ice, chased by tall boys of Coors Banquet beers.
Ugh.
I finished off most of my Ryan Kaplan's beef jerky that I had left over from my sojourn into the woods. So I am just going through bags of those limited edition hot mustard Doritos. Those are delicious.
Oh.
You may be asking, Dan, why so much agitation? You know the old saying, it's not you, it's me? Well, in this case, it's entirely you. It's Purple Belt time. Issue 1. Charlie Butters. Why'd you go after Jayhawk's wife again last week at the end of the show? Jayhawk's your friend. You can't keep needling him. If you want to attack anyone, try Jay Gold. He made his daughter hang out with Lucky 13 at a wrestling show this weekend when she could have been at the beach. That's what I call negligence. Issue 2. I watched Double or Nothing last night. Now, I may joke about you guys mailing it in when it comes to wrestling-related content too often. But I for real think the writers of that show went on a 16-day bender and woke up 35 minutes before the first match with nothing. If I want to hear someone absolutely embellish hot garbage like Jim Ross did for a while, I'll re-listen to the episode of the show where Marcy talks about slam music or moshing or battling or whatever she did a few weeks back. I see you have a non-wrestler guest on this week. Well, aren't you guys becoming varied like CBS Sunday Morning? Where's Tony DeCopel to tell me about the joys of hot air balloon stitching as a profession? But, hi JCP. I went to your website. I may be a little unhip, so I didn't really understand what a lot of the designs you made are for. But I'll say that's the most exceptional use of clip art on an Apple IIc that I've ever seen. Now, I think my call was a little bit short last week, so I want to get a little bit more. Not for you 4 Wannabe Kids Incorporated members, but for your fans, like Chris from the steakhouse in Manhattan that Jay Gold gushed about last week. It sounds like all that is good in the podcast listenership world. So I'm going to do a little mother love and apple pie Remember when I did my homage to Garrison Keeler's News from Lake Wobegon a few weeks back with my News from Burlington segment? Marcy, please tell me you Googled it and listened to a few old episodes of Prairie Home Companion. There are no podcasts without trailblazing radio variety shows like that. You guys should really be honing your craft. But for all the Chris's out there, here's the News from Burlington. You can feel summer in the air in Burlington. The forsythia are in full bloom. Children seem a bit more whimsical and get a bit more mischievous, as children are prone to be. But there are only a few weeks left in the school year, and one of J.B. Atkinson High School's music teachers, Howard Albrecht, a rather meek man of Dutch descent, is looking forward to his annual second act. You see, his family has owned the Scoop and Save, our local ice cream shop, for generations. And Howard opens up right around now, right around Memorial Day. This year, he's excited to reintroduce butter pecan. It's been off the menu for a few years. What? Howard believes kids these days want only indulgent, ultra-loaded flavors. But he's optimistic, because over the winter, a new age-restricted housing development opened in town. And he thinks there will be some demand with an influx of seniors. On Friday, Bill Wexler, the president of the local Jewish Community Center, came in with his grandchildren to celebrate the holiday of Shavuot, which is traditionally marked by eating dairy products. Howard told Bill of the butter pecan gimmick, and Bill seemed amused and ordered a cup. Most people in town think Bill was just being gracious. Vicki Richter is the bartender down at Burlington House, one of our older dinner clubs. She's been lamenting that the NBA playoffs are almost over. She likes the camaraderie of everyone coming down to watch a full slate of games. In fact, she's convinced Mike Penzel, her boss, to get a streaming package of baseball games for the summer. So all the locals will be able to get their fill of the Royals, Padres, and Twins, courtesy of Mike's nephew, Jim Ware, who works for Spotify all the way in New York City. Vicki also mentioned how nice it is when the town puts up flags to honor those who passed, defending our country throughout the long weekend. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
No.
Right.
Probably not.
Can't wait. And I hope sooner rather than later we can do a memorial episode in honor of Jay Gold. Okay, gotta go.
What did you do to him?
What the fuck? I had something, but I just lost it in all of that.
I don't remember what was cut now, but the look that JKP had on his face on the one comment was like a look of incredulousness that Giovanni had and Conrad got something stupid.
What the fuck?
Hey,
that was the most unhinged 2 minutes I've ever heard.
Hey, Stan. Yeah, from Burlington. I designed a shirt for you. Yeah.
Nice.
I did. It came out pretty good. So don't you talk shit about my work, man.
And you can order that shirt through our kind of bring back your tea.
That's correct. Oh man, what in the world, Stan?
Oh boy, I think. Oh.
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, we do.
Hey, let's get ready to flush the format. I've got a lot this week. I'm going to lead with the news from Burlington, for Chris from Sparks, and all the fans. It's Pride Month in Burlington. There's excitement in the air, along with an inordinate amount of glitter. So much so that Pete Cernicchia, the local meteorologist, wondered if it wasn't in fact the glitter, as opposed to the Canadian wildfires, that contributed to some recent poor air quality readings. Terry Cloth, our town's most prominent drag performer, is thrilled because Terry went down to Mark Genetti's Fix-It shop and asked how to borrow Mark's 1965 flatbed truck, and Mark said sure. So Terry will be in, or well, will be, the town's Pride Parade. Steve Kern has been opening up pools in town. He owns Kern Can Do Its Pool Service. He likes this time of year. Of course, he makes money, But during the winter, he works at the local ski mountain. And he thinks people are just kinder in the summer. His daughter Maddie is home from Oberlin. And she's working with Vicky down at the Burlington house. And Steve likes to go down and watch the streams of the Pirates and Rockies games the Burlington house is offering this year. He also likes to make sure that none of our town's late-night drinkers are giving Maddie any problems. Speaking of problems, I see Isaiah Broner. No. Put your penis away, Jay Gold. I said Broner, not Boner, you delinquent pervert. Isaiah Broner is on the show this week. Isaiah, I'll get to you. But first, I've got a few problems of my own to address. It's purple belt time. Issue 1. Charlie Butters. Charlie, you did it again last week. At the end of the show, you attacked Jayhawk's wife. Completely uncalled for. I'm about to ask Isaiah Broner to reach through his computer screen and give you a few Steven Regal uppercuts. It shouldn't be Marcy off the show this week. It should be you, on suspension. You really better stop. Issue 2, your guest host, Ed. I've been listening to Hayabusa, your newest wrestling-ish podcast. The latest episode sounded like a white trash Pee-wee's Playhouse if it was hosted by our old Duke. A literary reference. Watching mescaline before, during, and after recording that? I have to admit, it got quite a few chuckles from some of my friends here as I was playing it. But I still don't get why the talking of it is on the roof all day.
Talking oven?
Issue 3, your guest, Isaiah Broner. The problem. If you ask me, the real problem with this show is that we are now several months removed from Malcolm Cambridge's last appearance, and even more from Dom Garini's. What type of world are we living in, where the only repeat guest you can have is that malignant narcissist, Derek Dillinger? Now look, I know that the thing is college graduation, and all the work he does trying to cure childhood cancer and act as a goodwill ambassador to many needy communities across the globe, Malcolm may be very busy. The road to sainthood is clearly neither evenly paved nor short. And Tom Garini, well, Dom, oh my God, I'm getting a little too animated. Ouch! I had to take preventative measures. But seriously, Isaiah, you're a significant force on the independent wrestling scene, and you are clearly someone of good character and morals. So I have to ask, why this show? And speaking of problems, Jay Gold is so far up your butt on social media that I don't know how you have a bowel movement without hearing a little voice going, "Oh, nice work, Mr. Broner." Now, I know I didn't call last week. I meant to. But I spent the night peeking through the window into Ted's Supper Club because there was a rumor circulating that Ricky Steamboat was having dinner there. Turned out it was just Dan Kiyaki Fanoa, the owner of Burlington's only poke shop. But I had to put some Hendrick's Gin and Canada Dry Lemon Seltzer into a canteen before I left my room. Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, I slept like a baby right there in the alley. I did. But to make it up to you, let's play a game of what doesn't belong and why.
Okay.
Yes. The fun recurring segment where I give you 3 names and you tell me what doesn't belong and why. Charlie, as always, make sure you pause and give everyone at home and in studio a chance to guess. What doesn't belong and why? A, Isaiah Broner. B, Jay Gold. C, Ed.
Okay, so what doesn't belong and why? Isaiah Broner, Ed, or Jay Gold?
I'm gonna say
I have no idea where Dan possibly going with this one. I abstain.
I'm gonna.
I think it's Jay Gold because me and Broner are both pretty bad motherfuckers, you know?
We'll see.
All right. Let's see where this goes.
Well, here's the answer. Although all 3 associate themselves with problems, Isaiah in the wrestling ring, Ed with the societal issue of rampant capitalism, and Jay Gold with the legal variety, seeing that he may or may not have murdered his first wife. The answer clearly is A, Isaiah Broner. Because unlike the other 2, Isaiah doesn't spend chunks of his weekends frosting his hair, putting on costumes, and walking around comic book conventions on hallucinogens. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
Holy shit. Isaiah, comment?
I don't know what the fuck is happening here.
We got another one. All right.
But I'm entertained. So it's cool. I mean, I was entertained.
Hold on to your hat.
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. Hey, I know I like to talk about my hometown of Burlington a lot. You probably can tell that Burlington is a really small town that just seems to be frozen in time in sort of a bygone era. That's why I like to point out that I am not hip or cool or young like Sweet Marcy is. So, last week when I went on social media to see what this week's show was going to be and I saw The Runway, I thought, oh wow, an aviation-themed show. Yeah. Maybe they are going to talk about eVTOL, electric vertical takeoff and landing helicopters. Or maybe Sully is going to be on. Then I remembered you sometimes talk about wrestling on this show. I figured this must be a tag team made up of two pilots. Like 9 to 5 are supposed to be disgruntled financial service workers. This gimmick is two disgruntled pilots. Or one pilot and one flight attendant. And they work steel, talking about the poor manners of the American flying public. I pictured Steve Guy in the middle of the ring saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for takeoff. Here are McDonnell Douglas and Bo Ing. The runway."
Oh my God.
I had a lot of aeronautic jokes to make. I did. And right after medication time, I ran down to the Burlington house for a few gimlets, hoping that in the pills and the booze I would loosen up a bit. And I was talking to Roy Farris, the daytime bartender, about my call, when he suddenly said, "No, Stan, I bet you they are models, like fashion runways, like fancy people. I bet that's the gimmick." I looked him up on Twitter. Sure enough, old Roy was right. So that begs the question of the runway. What on earth are you doing on this show? 3 out of 4 hosts haven't bought a pair of new dungarees since the second term of George W. Bush. That's a kid from Kid and Play at the first MTV Movie Awards. The only reason the word model comes up on this podcast is when various reviewers or callers point out that the only modeling being done is modeling the exact example of exactly what not to do on a podcast. Let me be honest. As with all guests who appear, I usually assume it's because Charlie Butters has something unsavory on them, and they are doing this rather reluctantly, or possibly against their will. Here's some advice. Put an A directly in the middle of your name, and do that. Run away. Shut down your computers and pretend you never crossed paths with this absurd collection of Breakfast Club-style riffraff. Speaking of running away, I just assumed that's why Marcy wasn't on the show last week. I assumed she finally broke free of the mind control, and you guys had Ed on to act like, oh, nothing to see here.
Oh, well.
Marcy, I did. But I'm sad to see you're back. Marcy, you can do this. You can be free. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
Oh my God.
Stan really likes me now, huh?
I'm gonna cry.
I think Stan loves you, Marcy.
Stan Corey, like you're the only one Stan like.
Does he wait? Does he like me like he likes Malcolm?
I don't know, Marcy. I think you guys have a special kind of relationship. I think him and Malcolm and Dom have a different sort of relationship.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw that out there. When I drove to Indiana the other day, I passed a Burlington, Kentucky. I'm going to throw that out there.
Nope, I don't think that's it.
Small town in the middle of nowhere.
Runway comment.
Time. I know of Burlington in Massachusetts, and I'm trying to wipe the tears from laughing so hard off my face.
That was a lot to process.
Oh, I hope you enjoy it.
Oh yeah, the runaway thing is hilarious because that's actually what some people put on like posters. So like as who it is, and we have to like message them like that's not our name, please.
Or we also get the runways a lot, like plural. Which I'm not really, I don't understand.
Oh, now the pilot sounds like Bill Ding, the evil architect that Disco Inferno came up with. Stan, and you keep your day job coming up with names. The gimmick is coke looking bad.
Now, would you also guys consider becoming pilots? You'd still be models, but you'd be like a dual thing, like
right.
You're pilots and also model.
When they go to Rise, they're pilots. When they come back to enjoy, they're runway models.
No, I would be a flight attendant. I would be a flight attendant. I'm too cute to slip behind that door.
We might have something here.
Gay flight attendants, chef's kiss. I don't know where they find the time, but they're always usually really attractive. It's really weird.
I just like the name Boeing.
Right? So good.
God, yes. But wait, which one of us is
Boeing
Bo?
Because there's I'm Boeing because there's no that's hilarious. We obviously know by the story you told before that I love metaphorical names.
You look like a bow.
You can keep that one. You can keep that one for free.
I'm gonna take you saying that I look like a bow as a compliment.
That's because my trainer's name is Bo. Yeah, never mind. That was a compliment. Damn it.
Well.
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. I'm sorry I didn't call last week. Lord knows you could have used a little boost during the review show. But I was too busy prepping for the AEW New Japan Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I called Burlington's only omakase restaurant, Moko, operated by our town's only Japanese resident, Shoei Baba, and I ordered a spread for my friends. But I had a few too many sake bombs. Yeah. And I woke up 16 minutes into Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. I did. The rest of the night is sort of a blur. It's funny because that whole card was held in Canada. And a week later, WWE did a pay-per-view in the UK during the long July 4th weekend. I mean, how out of touch can you be? It's like this show was directly a dig at Jay Gold. They put over the German, Gunther, over again. I guess Vince McMahon joins Charles Lindbergh and former British King Edward VIII as those who hoped the Germans would have won World War II. Well, let me tell you something. That thinking doesn't fly in Burlington, I'll tell you that.
No.
Speaking of Jay Gold, I noticed he wasn't on the podcast last week. That's sad. I hope the ratings didn't take too much of a hit. You hate to lose the fanny pack wearing, masturbating to old videos of Ryan Shamrock demographic. They keep this show afloat. Right, Chris from Sparks? Speaking of carrying the show, I see you have AIW referee Porter O'Shea on this week. So, Marcy, what happened to Jake Clemens and Tom Dunn? Well, regardless, Porter O'Shea, I've watched AIW shows on Fight. Porter O'Shea looks like a mid-2010s Triple H that spent too much time at some local Raising Cane's franchise openings. Porter O'Shea sounds like the first guy to die during the Irish potato famine. Or the answer to a trivia question. Most likely to be arrested for planting a pipe bomb in a town square during the period of the Troubles.
What the fuck?
The truth is, I didn't watch WWE's Money in the Bank because I was too busy participating in Burlington's July 4th celebration. I was. They bring local artists together to depict patriotic scenes from our country's history. Well, after a 4-pack of watermelon high noons, I got down to painting. And I thought it was time to give two of our country's most beloved citizens, Malcolm Cambridge and Dom Guarini, a little rub. I used my art skills that I took from my community college classes to recreate some famous paintings of our nation's founding. Let me give you some details. Emmanuel Gottlieb's Washington crossing the Delaware? I copied it, but with Malcolm Cambridge in the lead as the father of our country. John Trumbull's The Death of General Mercer at the Battle of Princeton? That's Dom Guarini serving as a martyr for our emerging democracy. And finally, William Trago's The March to Valley Forge? Well, Dom and Malcolm feature heavily in the sketches of the surviving soldiers, reflecting their resilience as phenomenal Americans. Oh, you know what? I feel like I've gone a little bit long, but I guess you may need to edit this out for plugs this week. Just kidding. Porter O'Shea has about as significant a social media crowd as I do. And that's even after he shows more pictures of his new Nissan Pathfinder. But I think we need to lighten the mood a bit. So let's play a game. What doesn't belong and why? Yes, the fun segment where I give you 3 things and you tell me what doesn't belong and why. Charlie, be sure to pause and give everyone a chance to guess, okay?
All right.
Here we go. What doesn't belong and why? A, ask guest Derek Dillinger. B, Porter O'Shea. C, Jay Gold. What doesn't belong and why?
What doesn't belong and why?
Jay Gold, people like Derek and Porter?
I'd like to think that would be the answer, yes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right, let's find out.
Hi.
Oh, no. Whoops.
Wait a minute, that's not live?
I wish it was live.
But it's not.
I have questions for that man.
Clearly, the answer is A, ask guest Derek Dillinger. Because while all 3 are despicable egomaniacs who repeatedly go on podcasts to pump their own self-inflated values of their worth, speaking of inflated, have you seen these guys' bloated faces in pictures? The answer is clearly A, Derek Dillinger. Because he's the only one in this group to spend a few days each week understanding that carbs are not your friends. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
What a fucking dick.
Why was my name even mentioned in that? I don't know. I thought he was going to ask me something, and then he didn't.
He went hard after Porter, though. I know that.
All I got to say is after that, okay, challenge accepted. I'm going to go back to 6 days a week or 6 days a week in the gym. I'm declaring for Gauntlet. I'm going to shut this guy up.
Oh my god!
Oh, any carb that you cut, you can give them to me. But I pretty much have to have carb. I live on carb.
Stan came firing today.
I will say this though: I would vote for Malcolm Cambridge if he was the leader of our country.
That is correct. We would too.
Hi, it's me, Dan from Burlington, and I have not called lately. I hope Malcolm's well. I'm enjoying the summer breeze and thinking about Dom Galini. Hello from Burlington. What's going on in the ring? Lately, I really do not know, but I'll never find out from the show. That was a musical tribute to account for my recent absence. It's summer, so everyone needs to take some extended time off, right? In Italy, most businesses shut down for a few weeks and everyone heads for the coast. They call it Ferragosto. You guys should probably do something similar, except in your case, it would be called Feral Augusto, because this foursome is just a bunch of animals anyway. So,
true.
I see you have another referee on this week, Charles Van. Wow. AIW sure has a lot of referees these days. Talk about promotion, flush with cash. What happened to the days when El Conquistador number 3 wrestled in the first match on the card in a mask and ref the next 4? Maybe that's a little Sakara-esque, but I hope no one reminds Tom Dunn that he's become somewhat replaceable. But Charles Van, You know what the old saying is about teachers, right? Those who can't teach. Well, with wrestling school students, it's those who can't ref. I kid. This all comes from a place of love. And that place of love is Burlington. So while I have you, I thought I'd do another round of my much-beloved segment, The News from Burlington. Late summer in Burlington is really a slow time. William Calhoun, the crossing guard, who works outside the regional middle and high school site, likes to sit on his porch with his wife Tammy. William is happy with a sunny day, a bottle of Dewar's, a bowl of cherries, and some pistachios. He's happy to make small talk with anyone who walks by. Bill Cruikshank's been across the street for 50 years. Bill used to be called William, too, but his neighbor made it clear that, like Highlander, there couldn't be two Williams in one place, so now they call him Bill. Bill likes to smoke a cherry tobacco pipe, and to turn the screws on William, he likes to empty it on his lawn. People in town like to call them the fabulous ones, Bill and William. The kids on the street think both of them as more of bad company. Terrence Gordy rents pontoon boats on Lake Overw. It's been a learning experience for Terry, but no one has died in an accident in the last 18 years, and Terrence is happy because he thinks of what happened up on Lake George in New York a few years ago when there was an accident with a flat-bottom boat. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right. Maybe we should convince Jay Gold he might want to spend an early morning going out for some trout. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't think he would have to drag me for not being able to learn how to be a talent or anything like that. Jesus, Stan.
Listen, we don't ask questions. We just let him go. That's what we do. Oh boy.
I love you, Stan, but that went off the rails a little bit there.
When do they not go off the rails?
I know, right?
That's a fair point.
Jayhawk, are you kidding me?
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington.
Hey, Stan.
I don't know if you remember me.
Well, I will now after this.
Great. Don't worry. I don't feel slighted that you banked some shows in advance without taking calls, thereby depriving listeners of my voice for a bit. That's okay, yeah, it is. Because I spent some time following around the Savannah Bananas. No. Put your peace, Jay Gold. This isn't a foul. It's a minor league baseball.
This is a town marketer?
Similar to the Globetrotters. They've been barnstorming some minor league ballparks around Burlington.
Give it time, Cap.
They have a built-in opponent that always manages to lose, like the Generals. And everyone is in on the gag, so sort of like kayfabe. Speaking of kayfabe and breaking it, I see a past guest. Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham got married this past weekend. What a wonderful milestone for him. And a whole group of oddities and ne'er-do-wells who have appeared on this show were there, like Ronald Two Legs, dastardly Derek Dillinger, and Tom Guarini. Imagine the pressure a respectable gent like Dr. Dan must have felt with a modern-day Ravens block sitting in the first row. Did you guys send him a gift? He was kind enough to come on this show. In fact, I was thinking, since you guys are in the merch game, maybe you could come out with a line of IW Guide-inspired objects for graduations and weddings, and showers, etc. Like the I Can't Believe It's Butters butter tray. Or, you're really cheesy, a branded box grater. And finally, the Jay Gold, a tool used for removing the shit vein from unclean shrimp before you cook them.
What?
Hey, I guess
That's actually a good tool.
Ryan Kaplan. What a choice for a wrestling working name. It invokes that kid at summer camp who's not good enough to make the basketball team, but the coaches appreciate his hustle and that he can make a few foul shots. In Burlington, if you're heading to the part of town where you're going to be hanging out with a Kaplan, that means you're there for a bar mitzvah, or a deposition, or an audit. But I kid. Remember that time I went into the woods with just a handle of Johnny Walker Red and a few bags of Kaplan's homemade jerky? Well, it proved to be the life-sustaining food I needed when I found myself mired for several days. So I thank you, Mr. Kaplan. Now, I could do a News from Burlington segment right now. I could talk about the annual Firefighters Day barbecue, which is always the Saturday after Labor Day that sort of extends the summer fun for all the kids and families in town. Or how Burlington High School's varsity football season is not far from starting. And with that, means lower ratings for SmackDown in the area on nights there are home games. But I find the end of August to be such a strange time. One of reflection and resignation. Summer will end. The chill will come. And it makes me think of the last verse of Simon and Garfunkel's song, April Come She Will, off the Sounds of Silence album all the way back in 1966. It goes like this. August, die she must. The autumn winds blow chilly and cold. September, I remember. Love once new has now grown old. It's beautiful. The last part of that was dedicated to Malcolm Cambridge. As for the part about dying in August, hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right. Hey, Jay Gold, what's today's date? Okay, bye.
Fucking dick. Oh, shit.
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. Hey, I didn't call last week, but I listened. And that show certainly was, well, something. Everyone had come back from 2 weeks off. You guys kept acting like you had jetted off to Ibiza or East Hampton. I'm beginning to wonder what you're doing with Chris and Zach and Brock's Patreon money. And then there was the point in the show where the four of you gave your very qualified and obviously very requested labor relations counsel to reach some sort of detente in the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strike. To come to Hollywood and take over as arbitrators. Here's Charlie Butters with Randy Weingarten, Jimmy Hoffa, and prominent labor lawyer Ted Keel. Hey! Oh, and who can forget Jay Gold bringing his supposedly beloved family members into the discussion? First, he shamed his cousin, who may or may not have ordered my merch. And by the way, I'll be looking forward to a residuals check when that happens. Maybe I can buy some Cutwater Long Island iced teas. Then Jay Gold shamed his own brother for perhaps drinking too much at one time or another. And Charlie Butters piled on. Hey, Jay Gold, at least your brother doesn't need a handful of Percocets or Propofol to sleep like Michael Jackson, and likely has not been a suspect in the death of his wife, you mush-mouthed pervert. Hi, Marcy.
Hi.
Hi.
How many times have you pleasured yourself in the last 24 hours to replays of the Browns game yesterday? Jared, when you get out of the shower, your daughter has school today. And tell K-Hawk to stop sending lewd texts about what he's going to do to Nick Chubb next week. Well, I certainly feel a little bit better now. Oh, I see you have a guest this week. Matt Wadsworth. Speaking of lewd, what are you guys doing? Or should I say, who are you guys doing over at the IW corporate offices to get such classy guests? Matt Wadsworth calls matches with Nathan Zagura, and yet he's willing to give this show some time, even with a triple header of shows this coming weekend? Hey, Wadsworth, this show went on and on last week about how diverse and supposedly healthy their downloads have been getting. Guess what they didn't point out? That they're getting any action in Cleveland. So if you're expecting a ticket sales boost, you better go on Barstool. But if I had to ask Wadsworth a question, it would be something really generic that John Thorne has been asked like 6,000 times in the AIW Discord, and that in terms of answers has been beaten like a dead horse. So, tell me your all-time favorite fantasy booking, if you can get anyone. Just kidding. Blah, blah, blah. Asked and answered. Better you should tell everyone how drugged and drunk you were when you committed to coming on this show. Well, I'm almost finished. Seeing that this show never fails to misread the room, I'm assuming you guys are recording this show on 9/11, and I'm going to go pay my respects to Burlington's first responders by getting drunk down at the Burlington House and passing out with a thank you note pinned to my chest. But seeing that this is a day marked normally with sadness and reflection and memorials, hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Never.
Right. Right. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
I can honestly say, Stan, that the fact that today was 9/11 did not cross any of our mind.
Oh, Stan, what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Hey, listen, he was completely complimentary to me, so I'm going to take it.
Well, there was no way he was going to be anything but complimentary of you. I don't understand what just happened, but he just, again, accusing me of murder most of the time, which is status quo. But yeah, thanks, Stan.
Stan likes me.
Ooh. Yes, Stan loves Marcy. I know that much.
We know Stan hit the nail on the head with Jayhawk too. You know,
fuck off, Butter.
Jayhawk's hands look very pruny from where I'm at, so he's definitely been in the shower nonstop. So
I haven't. I'm sorry.
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me.
Okay.
Hey, I hope you had a meaningful Yom Kippur, J. Gold. How brave of you for recording on your religion's most solemn day. For your pagan co-hosts, Yom Kippur is a day of forgiveness, where those of the Jewish faith ask God to forgive their sins and give them another year of life. Well, I'm going to get this over with early this week. Hey, Charlie, are you thinking what I'm thinking? No, just kidding. But Jay Gold, you sure do have a lot to ask forgiveness for this year. I hear you've secretly been watching and paying for GCW. And you decided to stop being funny on this show. Actually, though, I'm not sure anyone can grant you the sort of redemption you seek for putting out a mediocre podcast every week. And for the whole incident with your first wife, too. But I shouldn't get that far away from the importance of my call. This week is really quite a show. Wes Barkley.
That's me.
A refined gentleman. An erudite. Someone with appreciation for fine food, well-tailored clothing, the good life. I mean, Wes coming on this show is like the gathering of the Juggalos meets Bohemian Grove.
All right.
Wes,
I've been to one of
if I were
those.
you, I'd put on my blue suede shoes and run away from your computer screen before Charlie or Jayhawk have time to pull up your cage match stats. But give some love to Marcy, eh?
What do you mean?
She's a gem.
What do you mean my cage
Ranked
match
pretty high up
stats?
there on my list of favorite wrestlers. I mean, we all know marvelous Malcolm Cambridge is the bee's knees. And Dom Guarini, well, Dom, swoon, especially with the glasses on. But I would put Wes right up there in tier 1A.
Thanks.
Like when Wes did his food reviews.
Thank
he
you.
did.
Stan.
Hey, I don't know if I told you guys this yet, but with the new academic year starting this month, I've signed up for new classes at the local community college.
Okay.
I've moved on from portraits and drawings, though. I think I should be more relevant in the workforce.
Okay,
I'm taking
Stan.
digital editing. I've, let's say, co-opted some of Wes's earlier food review videos.
Okay.
And I've learned to make them a little more, let's say, interactive.
What?
I cut in video of myself being fed a bit of whatever Wes is having.
Oh my
It looks
God.
like we're on a
What?
date. It does. It's really magical stuff.
Oh my God.
What?
Hey.
He's still
this has been
on?
a fun call this week. Want to end with a little bit of a game?
Yep.
Yes, you guessed it. What doesn't belong and why?
Let's do it.
Come on, let's do it. I'll give you a few names. You tell me what doesn't belong and why. So, Charlie, after I read the names, make sure you pause so everyone can guess or at least give their opinions. Okay, here we go. What doesn't belong and why? A. AIW Intense Champion Wes Barkley. B. Disgraced New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez.
I don't know who
And
that is.
C. Jay Gold. What doesn't belong and why?
I don't know who the middle one is. So let's take him out.
He just got arrested and indicted for bribery and all sorts of weird shit in New Jersey. So
Damn, you got plugs like that? I might leave him in. If he can get me some poll like that.
well, he's trying to see what he's saying. What doesn't belong and why? I'm going to go with me, as a matter of fact.
All right.
I'm gonna say Wes. Wes doesn't belong in that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm going to say Wes as well because apparently he's the only one that can commit a major crime.
God damn it. Listen, that is alleged. So
who?
You'll find.
For the disgrace.
Stan is convinced that Josh killed his first wife, and
That's correct.
Bishop.
No, me. Me, this Josh, Wes. My name's Josh, in case you don't remember.
No, I do, but I mean, I thought they were coming at me for some.
Oh no, he's coming at me with everything guns blazing. What do we got, bud?
All right. This is all right.
Well, while all three have a reputation for living la dolce vita, I mean, what else can you call Jay Gold and Adam Van driving around Long Island buying wrestling figures?
Hey,
the answer is
solid
clearly
Sunday.
A, intense champion Wes Barkley. Because unlike the other two, Wes doesn't have a second wife benefiting from his scams and grifts. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
Not yet.
Oh, fucking Stan.
He asked something on there, right?
No, he did not. He never.
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington. I don't know if you remember me. I haven't called in a few weeks. Seems like this show really went off the rails in my absence. 1 week Jayhawk wasn't on. The whole show he missed. I was thinking, sure missed Jayhawk. Who's going to talk about the Cleveland Browns? Jayhawk sure likes football. And the Guardians. But they stink. You think Dom Guarini has been watching the Browns? I like Dom. I like when he wears his glasses. You think he has to wear them while he watches TV? Last week, Charlie Butters was off the show. You guys kept saying he was suspended. I didn't really believe that, because I've said some things on this show that should have gotten me suspended. But that didn't happen. I mean, I did get my phone privileges taken away here where I lived for a while. But that was because I was Googling Mountain Cambridge, followed by some naughty words.
Jesus Christ.
The rumor is Charlie Butters is back this week. I guess I won't know till the show comes out. But let's be honest, if he is back, this is some odd Patty Hearst type scenario, whereby you guys are punishing your listeners for being too loyal. Last week's show without Butters was almost as good as a week without Jay Gold yammering on about all his first world white people problems. Oh, I paid over $100 so my daughter could get a picture of Sasha Banks. Thank God she didn't snarl at us. That would have been okay, because earlier in the weekend I got a quick handy in the locker room from CPA at the Creator Pro show. You guys also have been on the guest train, I see. Last week Joshua Bishop was fantastic. A really interesting guy that this show managed to get just the most minimal answers from. Hey Josh, so you like TNA? The six-sided ring sure is cool, right? So funny, because I read that Impact is officially coming back as TNA as of the new year as a pay-per-view. Speaking of paying for TNA, I see you have the Duke on this week. Talk about a situation where there's a lived experience gap between the guests and the hosts. Duke is going to want to talk about building up his IHG loyalty points. And Jay Gold is going to be asking about what if he collects Funko Pops. Duke is booking the Intercontinental Hotel, and Marcy is trotting around a replica WWE Intercontinental Championship belt with Tony Hiso. Is this show paying AIW's October tax retainer? Because why the hell is the Duke agreeing to come on and speak to the four of you? Three of us probably haven't filed taxes since the Trump administration. I like the Duke. I like a man that is bold enough to wear a t-shirt and sport coat. I once read that designer Michael Kors always wears a navy cashmere t-shirt and navy blazer. Sort of his go-to look. Jay Gold's go-to look is a fanny pack and a pair of AIW branded chaps. The synergy with this show is just undeniable. Well, this has been a fun return, hasn't it? Yeah, it has been. Want to play a game? Yeah. Let's play What Doesn't Belong and Why.
All right.
The weekly segment where I give you three names and you tell me what doesn't belong and why. Charlie, remember to pause and let everyone guess. Okay, here goes. What doesn't belong and why? A, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan. B, the Duke. C, Jay Gold.
Going to see the Duke being the only one that won't go after underage women.
Oh, that is wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong. No, not anymore.
Shit.
Okay, let's see. Oh boy, yeah, it's got to have something to do with harassment or something.
Not always what you think, dude. It's not always what you think.
Well, the fact that he mentioned Jim Jordan, I mean, it's got to be some weird ass thing like that. I know he was a wrestler. I know that, but oh, sheesh. I would say I'm going to say me, but I don't know why.
All right. Let's find out.
Okay, here's the answer. While all three have some questionable histories regarding men and wrestling, the answer is clearly B, the Duke. Because unlike the other two, people actually want him to speak. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
All right, there we go. Well, I was half right.
Oh, Stan was on one today. Holy shit.
Oh,
all right.
He was cooped up for how long? Yeah, he
I
probably had
know.
a lot to say.
Yeah, 3 weeks without phone privilege. No,
He doesn't get a lot. He doesn't get a lot of sun driving around in that windowless white van that he has.
He's actually in the van. He's in the back of the van. They drive him around.
All right, it's me, Stan, from Burlington.
Hey, Stan.
I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, we do.
Maybe this week you notice a particularly pausing tone to my voice. Yeah, you might. I'm celebrating the great American playwright, David Mamet. Yeah, I am. And why would I be doing that? Because you have a man of the theater on today. You do. Magnum CK. Magnum, a great wrestler and truly a performer for all of us. He likes improv, like SNL. Here's one that I thought of in his honor. Cleveland's hottest podcast is Oof. This podcast has everything. Jayhawk suspended from the ceiling, Marcy giving bikini line grooming tips, Charlie Butters sitting on an ottoman. That's fun. But seriously, Malcolm, I have a question. Have you ever noticed that a theater and wrestling have many of the same characteristics? Let me point out an example. The use of the word brother. Everyone in the AIW locker room seems to call each other brother. I've heard Dustin Alberti speak, and that's like his go-to phrase. But this is not an Alberti special. I'm talking about the bard himself, William Shakespeare. He liked to use that phrase. Here, allow me to quote the St. Crispin's Day speech from Henry V. From this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England, now abed, shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, while any speaks with their brother that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day. Wow, such a cultural day. Isn't that what a great speech? Yeah. Hey, guys, let's not ruin this. You want to play a game?
Okay.
Yeah, me too. Let's play What Doesn't Belong and Why.
All right.
Yeah. The weekly segment where I give you a few names and you tell me what doesn't belong and why. Charlie, remember to pause and let everyone guess, okay? Here we go.
All right.
What doesn't belong and why?
What doesn't belong and why?
New Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. B, Magnum CK. C, Jay Gold.
I don't even want to speculate where he's going with it. I have no clue.
Oh, fuck you, Stan.
I mean, I think I figured it out whenever he does this. The answer is always the guess. I'm going to say Magnum. I can't figure out why, though, in this case.
I can't even imagine.
Oh, boy. All right. Here we go.
Well, clearly, the answer is B, Magnum CK. Because, well, while frankly, all three are performers, the other two are the least likable performers we've ever seen. Okay, gotta go. Bye.
All right.
I remember I remember that guy on the 1960s Batman. What first of all, where do I clock in for that phone call?
Stan can be long-winded sometimes, Magnum.
That's actually short by Stan standards.
Yeah. But we get some sort of game and some sort of reference to something cultural, and then how much he loves Malcolm Cambridge and Dom Guarini. But he forgot
like I
to
said,
mention that.
there is no way he can be young. There's literally 0% chance that there's a young man making these references.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it up with his handlers when I get him for the interview for Christmas.
Yeah, he definitely needs to be on because I think he's got his own show going. He puts the work in.
Yeah, we have a Christmas special coming out with all of his calls, So if you want to catch up on all the Stan stuff, you're more than welcome to.
All the Stan lore.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but if someone leaves me a
plenty of
voicemail, if someone leaves me a voicemail and at any point they utter, "Do you want to play a game?" I'm calling the fucking FBI.
Yeah, I'm sure his handlers, they give him very, very short amount of time of phone time. So sometimes
he obviously, well, you could hear that phone ringing, so he obviously was using the front desk's phone, and just calling real quick because they probably took his phone again.
Yeah, there's been times where they've taken his phone for several weeks and we don't hear from him. So,
did you guys cut out the part where it's like you're receiving a paid phone call from like whatever facility?
We got to listen for that next time. Maybe it'll find out where he is. But he's in Burlington. He's some Burlington. We don't know which Burlington, but
I still say it's a Burlington coat factory.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that think he's just living in a Burlington coat factory, so it's totally possible.
Yeah. I still think he's doing the Rough House Fargo deal where he's locked in a home and they only let him out on holiday.
That's what it is. That's what I think.
When they have to pop the town.
That's right.
Hi, it's me, Stan, from Burlington.
Hey, Stan.
I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, we do.
But we really are into the holiday season, aren't we? Thanksgiving is this week. This is going to be a long call. So you may want to cut the EMT or the toy maker this week. Let's just call it Stan's Thanksgiving Extravaganza. Meow, 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 meow. Derek Dillinger is back for his third appearance on the show. He's kind of becoming a regular, though for the life of me, I can't understand why. But it's sort of like when Jay Thomas would go on the David Letterman show every year around the holidays and tell the story about the time he met the Lone Ranger. Marcy, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up on your YouTubes.
No, I don't think I will.
Every year, Derek can come on with whatever fellow wrestler he's blackmailing into working a program with him. Sorry, Marquette. I don't know who he's been formally introduced. And he can tell a funny anecdote. I can see 20 years from now, Jay Gold saying, Derek, you're of course going to tell us about the incident with Parker Pierce, Laredo Kid, and you in the casket at Funhouse, right? In Burlington, we have all sorts of festive events starting up. There's our local turkey trot, a wonderful food drive at the high school, and even something that I've sort of made into a tradition here where I live. Let me tell you about it. I spend the week before Thanksgiving sneaking into the kitchen at night and taking cranberry sauce, which is meant for our Thanksgiving gathering. I combine everything I managed to get, and on the night before Thanksgiving, I use jelly molds that I had specially created of members only, Malcolm Cambridge and Calvin Lewis, to make little Calvin and Malcolm figures. I like to play with them in mashed potato wrestling rings. Then I eat them so they can be part of me forever. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Then I yanked my Dom Greeny Purville keychain to keep myself calm when some of the staff comes in and yells at me for bringing food up to my room. It's a special night. But let's not forget the true meaning of this week, being grateful and taking stock of all we have. I thought I would talk about some things that you four might mention as you say grace around your dinner tables, even as I made my own personal list. I'm thankful for Malcolm Cambridge. I'm thankful he'll be wearing his wrestling tights, and I'll be able to watch him through my illegally downloaded browser on Friday night at Hell on Earth. Tom Grady is probably thankful for ophthalmologists that make it possible for him to wear such flattering spectacles. I would assume this week Jayhawk is thankful for Dorian Thompson Robinson. Marcy is thankful for glitter and anime. Charlie Butters is thankful that whenever my calls run long, I hang up at preset intervals, so all he has to do is cut them together and not do any real editing. Jay Gold, for another year, is thankful that no one has yet caught on that he doesn't actually know anything about indie wrestling, despite the show. He's also thankful that the statute of limitations has almost run out on that little crime he committed against his first wife. Hey, this has been fun. Allow me to end with a little poem for all the fans.
Okay.
Thanksgiving in Burlington, a time to get drunk. Why am I listening to Derek Dillinger? He's such a punk. Jay Gold keeps yammering, calling Derek a beast, while all self-respecting listeners just want to get to their family feast. So maybe with this show, it's not a time to be grateful, but a time to love Stan from Burlington for being fun but hateful. Happy Thanksgiving. Well, gotta go. Bye.
If I can just
anime. What?
Oh, happy Thanksgiving, Stan.
I mean, you're into a form of anime, Marky. Let's be honest.
Oh, that's called
I don't know what
hentai.
you're
There's a
talking about.
difference.
Mars,
you got where I was going with that, though.
Stan's a little detached
for the
Mars.
story.
Yeah.
Why is he so mean to me now?
Derek, I don't know.
Marcy, did you know that there's a wrestler from Pittsburgh named Super Hentai?
Yes,
Yes.
I did actually.
Huh.
I love him.
Yeah,
Great.
Derek, I hope
He
like
also
when
used
I
to be a male stripper. Sorry.
Oh,
100%
Love that for him.
true.
oh my God, what goes on down there in Pittsburgh? My God,
You don't want to know, Jay Gold.
what in the world? Oh, Derek, I don't know why he was so mean to you, Derek. I really don't.
I don't understand. Is it because I thought Burlington was the coat factory? Not.
Well, I mean, we've all said it.
and-
We've all said it. I'm not 100% sure.
I think
Burlington
you're
Coat
onto
Factory.
something, and that's why he's so angry about it.
Or maybe they messed with his meds because you remember last time he got in trouble for using the phone. So maybe they messed, and maybe he's just in an ornery mood. You never know.
He's ornery.
Why hasn't he made me mashed potato replicas of me or cranberry sauce replicas of me?
You don't want him making mashed potato replicas of you, Derek.
I was gonna
That
say,
would
I
be
think at
strange.
this point you should be grateful he's not doing that for you.
Yeah, yeah. Only Malcolm has to worry about that, really.
I do have some bad news for you, Jay Gold. That alleged crime against your first wife, there's no statute of limitation on that.
Listen, I get it. I get it. It's just, these things happen.
Well, there you have it. 2 hours of Stan from Burlington phone calls. And what's in store for us in 2024? I guess only Stan knows.